Nowadays, it feels like all of us are suffering from information overload. Non-stop videos, non-stop notifications, scrolling, music, background noise. It feels like it never actually stops, and we never give our brain a second to just relax. And I really don't think our brains are meant for this level of stimulation. I feel like mine definitely wasn't. And one of the reasons was because I used to be chronically online. Like, I remember I couldn't focus on one thing at a time for more than maybe 10-15 minutes before I needed a different form of stimulation. I remember even doing something like going to the movie theater to watch a movie was not enough for me, which normally, you know, a movie is supposed to be something that's supposed to be exciting and keep you locked in for 2 to 3 hours. But I'd be going to the movie theater just fiending, like trying to look for my phone, being like, I don't know if I could sit here alone and just watch this movie focus on one thing for 2 to 3 hours without checking my phone. And that's how I knew my attention span was completely cooked. But the good news is you can actually build and fix it back up, and getting your attention span back is something that's super important and not as difficult as you might think it is to do. It's been something I've been working on the last couple of years, and I wanted to tell you guys what like the things I've been doing and the things that helped me the most kind of try to rebuild my attention span. Number one, and this is probably the most important one, is to reduce the consumption of short form content. Short form content is really just designed for that instant gratification, those instant dopamine hits, fast cuts, constantly moving. It's designed for quick dopamine hits. And your brain really starts to just get addicted to that. It thinks that's the normal way of consuming content, but it's really not. And when you try to sit down and like consume some long form content, your brain no longer can even do that anymore. I know for me that's how it was when I was at the movie theater. I couldn't sit there and watch a movie for 2 to 3 hours because I was so used to watching TikToks, which are 30 seconds, getting to the point right away. And so you're really training your brain by consuming short form content to not have an attention span at all. Now, I'm not sitting here and saying you have to quit all short form content, but you should definitely try to reduce the amount you're consuming of short form content. I know for me that's really been helpful. Like, I deleted my TikTok account. Even on like other platforms like YouTube and Instagram, I try to limit as much as I can. You know, on YouTube I have like an extension that pretty much gets rid of the YouTube Shorts section, and so I don't see them. And now I've really gotten pretty good at training my brain to not, you know, be addicted to these short form content videos, to where if I'm on one of these platforms like Instagram and I see the reels, maybe I'll watch a few and then I'll catch myself and be like, no, I gotta get off of it. And so once you just try to reduce the amount you're watching it, you're gonna realize that you don't really need it at all. And you'll start to catch yourself and you'll be able to just start practicing not consuming it as much, which is gonna help you regain your attention slowly. Another thing that you can do to help train sustained attention is reading. Now, reading is such a great habit. It helps in so many regards, but building back your attention span is definitely one of the big ones it helps do, because reading forces you to focus on one thing at a time and focus on one idea at a time. You can't swipe, you can't skip, you can't do 2 things, 3 things at once. I know for me, I don't know about most of y'all, but I know for me, when I'm reading, I gotta be focused. I gotta be doing that one thing, and I gotta be doing it at one time. Typically, I like to read 20 to 30 minutes a day. That's usually what I try to shoot for. But when I'm reading, I can't be one of those people who reads maybe like a few pages and then does something else. Or I'll be one of those people who's reading while listening to music, while watching some sporting event. No. If I'm reading, I gotta be focused on the pages and actually reading, because if I'm not gonna get the concepts of the book. I'm not gonna actually understand what's going on if I'm not focused. So it really forces me to kind of build my stamina of attention. I think it's a very beneficial thing, and especially if you can start reading books that are a little bit more maybe challenging, that could be very beneficial as well. I know for me, when I was reading a lot of like philosophy books, and that was pretty interesting because it's not something that's so easy to just understand. You have to be really, really focused. And not only that, you kind of have to take notes, or you kind of have to sit there and think about what you read and form conclusions, because it's not always obvious. So I felt like that was a really good way to just train my brain to have focus. And now I like to read all sorts of different types of books. Like recently I've been really into reading finance and economics books. Again, so you kind of have to really be focused and dialed in to get the broader picture. Reading is one of the more beneficial things you could do to train your attention span. The next is to just work on a new skill or a hobby, or just work on improving a skill or a hobby that you already have. I feel like skill building is a great way to just train your attention span, because it just naturally needs attention to develop a skill or build up a skill. Because the more distracted you are, the slower your progress for gaining those skills is going to be. So it's a direct correlation. For me, one thing I've been doing the last couple of years is learning a new language, learning Spanish. And this has been challenging, but it really requires you to be very, very focused, because when you're learning a new language, you really need to be present and actually paying attention, because if you're not going to be able to pick up any new vocab, any new grammar, any new sentence. Like, you're not going to be able to pick up anything, and you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to improve your skills at all if you're not staying focused and staying determined. The key idea of learning a new skill is to pick skills or hobbies where the more you pay attention and the more focused you are, the better you are going to get at that skill. And so I think language learning is a great example of something, a skill that really forces you to train your attention span. And now it doesn't necessarily have to be learning a language. While that's great, it could be something like learning how to sew, or learning how to paint or draw, or anything. It could be even like a physical thing, like learning how to play lacrosse. You know, these things take attention and require you to be very focused in order to actually improve your skills. These aren't things like watching TV or where you can half pay attention to while doing like 6 other things and still get the outcome. Some other things that like I've found throughout this kind of attention span gaining journey is it's okay to be bored. One of the reasons I feel like a lot of people have just short attention spans is because they don't allow themselves to ever be bored. For example, how many times have you been in line waiting for something, and rather than just being there and waiting for your turn to get whatever it is you want, you just get there and just start scrolling on your phone? So that's another thing I just started trying to practice is I'm in line or I'm at the gym. I'm not saying I don't check my phone, like I'm perfect. No, not at all. But I try to just make a conscious decision where at least half the time I'm just sitting there in the moment and allowing myself to be bored. And then another final point is to just reduce digital clutter. This helps a lot. Like for me, I'm one who, it feels weird to have like a million tabs open. So I like to close all my tabs and I like to close all my apps. And my phone is pretty minimalist. Like I try to delete the apps that I don't need or don't use very much. And I think this helps a lot. For me, I'm just trying to reduce that digital clutter to where I'm not even giving myself opportunities to mindlessly scroll. When you don't give yourself a lot of things to do on your phone, you're not going to be on your phone 24/7. I think just reducing your digital clutter, not having too many apps, close out tabs when you are done using them, close out the apps when you're done using them. Don't put yourself in the position where there's always an opportunity to scroll or consume or see content, because when you do that, you're gonna consume it. But if you don't, then you're gonna be way less likely to consume it. At the end of the day, I feel like working to gain your attention span back is something that's super important and super critical, because like me, I feel like a lot of other people at one point were just losing their attention span completely. Their attention spans were cooked. But it's actually not that difficult if you take these small steps to just work to build back your attention span. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Are there any other things that you guys have done to help you just start building back your attention span? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.